see if that's better.
Yeah, probably so. Then let the legs straighten. Torso gets a little taller. So formal Dandasana, seated staff. Pressing the palms downwards, pull the shoulder blades backwards. And then let the body start to lean out forward. On an inhale, lengthen the spine. On the exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, maybe a little bit deeper here. Resist this kind of softening of the spine and rounding of the shoulders. Instead, it's the heart pushing forward, navel center squeezing in, neck is actively pulling the head away from the body. Shoulder blades have a slight retraction back, tops, shoulders down away from the ears. And then soften the pose. Chin comes into the chest, round the spine. Slide the legs around and coming into your downward facing dog. So from here, inhale, take the right leg into the sky. On the exhale, right foot steps forward, left foot turns flat. Inhale, rising into our warrior one. Exhale, settle into warrior one. Inhale, straighten out the front leg. Again, you could choose to keep the arms up here or bring the hands around behind the back. I'm going to do behind the back. One, because it's really useful to help me make sure that the hips are aligned, right? Level with the floor, so not one cheek higher than the other cheek, if you will, and square to the front of the mat. So not one hip in front of the other, but they're both level with the front of that mat. And so, you make those adjustments here. Then the other reason why hands behind the back as opposed to up here is I'm going to suggest or encourage us to hang out and hold this pose for a few moments, and the arms above the head makes that a lot more challenging. So if you want to do that extra challenge, hands can be here, that's fine. Otherwise, hands here on the lower back, long body, and come just to that first place of resistance where you feel the first little bit of something that's like, there's a stretch or there's an extra, something kind of tightens up. Pause in this place, keep breathing. Right, and see if you can just let that, that tension, that stretchy sensation, just keep it going on, right? And so we call this time on tension. And we're slowly working our way deeper into this thing over, we're going to go, to 3 different levels. You're at level 1 here, but we're keeping that tension on. So on the next inhale, perhaps get a little bit more refinement in the structure, right? Legs squeezing, the torso lengthening, and then on your exhale, go just a little bit deeper. Pausing, holding the place, feet pressing. And what will happen sometimes is you'll feel like your feet are starting to kind of slip apart, right? And the mat's starting to stretch. So this is where you employ that thing, the legs squeezing back towards each other, front to back and side to side. Take it a little deeper here. Inhale, lengthen, refine the shape. Take it maybe just a little bit deeper. For some of us, maybe like right here. Maybe this is step 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Others may be like halfway to the floor. Right? You might be deeper than halfway, but a lot of times right here at level to the floor, there's some pretty special stuff that happens. Squeeze the legs together, front to back, side to side, torso lengthening, neck is long, torso and hips square to the mat, breath smooth and fluid. Inhale here. On the exhale, release the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale onto toes, pull forward. Exhale, knees drop, elbows bend, tops of feet flat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hips to heels, child's pose. and then come into all fours. All right, so again, we're going to do this thing with the right leg before we come into pigeon. So we're going to take the right toes on the mat behind you, press through the heel, reach through the crown of the head, then pick that right foot up off the floor, right toes pointed straight downwards, not turned out to the side just yet. Lift the heel, flex the top of the foot towards the shin, lift the heel. Now slowly, with control, start to turn the toes to that right side. Lift the leg higher. Keep it straight. Press through the heel. Flex the top of the foot towards the shin. Lift it higher. Now from here, keep the leg straight and let the right leg drift out here to the right side. Sole of the right foot pressing towards that right side wall. Lift the leg higher, press through the heel, flex the top of the foot towards the shin. Take the toe tips and shin and kneecap more towards the front of the room. Lift the right leg. Press through the heel. Pull it a little bit more forward. Press through the heel. Lift it a little bit higher. Slowly, with control, keep the leg straight. Take it back. Keep the leg straight. Turn the toes to face down. And now finally bring the knee up here to the front. And set up your seated pigeon. Again, hips level. You want to walk that back foot back, trying to elicit a response likely in the right side cheek. Don't let the right side drop down. Keep things level. You might let the weight of the body press down into this thing, then re-lengthen the spine, and then allow the body to find its place. Maybe a little bit forward, maybe to forearms. We have the possibility to take it over to the left side or over to the right side. So just stick with it for a little bit. So a lot of times when we get into a pose like this, stay with it. If we get to a pose like this, and things will kind of soften, right? You'll lose your little bit of structure. And so just, less than 1%, but you're pushing down in the top of that left foot. And you're kind of pulling the left hip a little bit more forward so the left leg is engaged. Right? The right shin and right side hip are pressing towards the floor. The hips have that slight little squeeze in towards the perineum, pelvic floor drawing out, navel center squeezing in, drawing towards the crown, heart pressing towards the floor. There's even some action in the hands and arms, whatever shape we're in, pressing down, perhaps with the hands, or maybe hands walking further out forward, or forearms pressing into the floor. Or even if we're seated, we might have palms at heart center, right? Neck has that little bit of engagement. Breath is still smooth and fluid. Time on tension. As you're ready, meaning you can always stay in this thing longer if you need to. As you're ready, you can slowly start to unravel from here. Roll over onto that right side cheek. And bring the legs around onto the front side. Again, just some softness here. The feet can kind of flop. The torso might slump. Then turn it into a formal shape as the legs start to engage, torso starts to engage, crown of the head over the tailbone, long spine start to lean out forward. We can keep our hands here near the hips, or they may come more down onto the calves or shins or ankles or foot or toes or even beyond, like an interlace out here. But what you don't want to have going on is that roundedness in the spine where the shoulders are slumping forward and the mid-back's pressing backwards. So you want the opposite of that, so we can, wherever the hands end up, retract the shoulder blades backwards, push the heart forward, squeeze the belly button in, and it may mean that you have a little less forward fold as the spine gets longer. That's good, right? From there, keep that long spine. Don't let yourself slump. You may kind of work with the breath here. The sensation on the inhale, legs get a little longer, torso gets a little longer. On the exhale, you might hinge from the waist a little deeper into this thing. Inhale, lengthening, engaging the legs and torso. On the exhale, you keep that engagement, but you maybe just go a little bit deeper. And so you can work your way progressively into this thing, into depth. So stick with it. You may get to a point where you're like, that's enough pressure, that's deep enough. You may decide that you need to back off a little bit. That's okay too. Just observing where is the resistance, but also observing where are the places that tend to collapse. Does the spine round? Does one leg soften a little bit more than the other does? Does the head just kind of drop down? Does the breath get ragged or unbalanced? It's just practice. Moving the breath, controlling the body. On your next exhale, let that roundness come in. So the chin drops down, round and slump the shoulders. From here, coming up tall and making our way onto our back side. So we come onto our back side here, soles of the feet on the floor, knees pointed up towards the sky. Let the hands just rest comfortably next to the body, and then let the knees just drift over to the right side. Take your vision, look to the right side. Keep the knees drifted here to the right side, but bring the chin through the center, and then let the chin start to drift and face look over to the left side. Come back into the center with the knees and face. And then let the knees drift the other way, over to the left, and face drifts to the left as well. Keep the legs drifting this way to the left, but bring the face slowly through the center. And then slowly you may add looking over the right shoulder. So come back into the center. Press into the soles of the feet, lift the hips up a couple of inches here, and then take the hips and body over to the left side of your mat just a little bit. Let your right leg extend out long. So want that little subtle structure here in the right leg, in the torso. Pick the left foot up, bring the left knee in a little bit here. Arms extend out to the sides, right, this kind of T shape. From here, take this right leg, or left leg, and bring it over to the right side. Your right hand can come and provide support, like a kickstand or a bench, or sometimes that right hand will help pull the right leg, or the left leg over to this right side. So this may be far enough. You don't have to do any of these other places. Slowly, if you want to make some changes, the face can start to look up towards the sky. Sometimes that's quite a bit more intense. So, if you have to back off or need to back off, you can. Final option for the head is to turn and look over the left shoulder towards the left hand. Now you want to press that left shoulder back down towards the floor. There's a likelihood that the left shoulder is kind of lifted up off the floor. It's okay if it's off the floor. Ideally, it would be on the floor though. And either way, whether it's on the floor or off the floor, you want a downward pressure with that left shoulder and left arm. Now, we'll start to move a little bit dynamically here. So you're going to keep your twist going on, but now take this left arm and slowly start to reach back behind the head. Turn the face to look up towards the sky. So looking into the center, reaching through the left fingertips. This is our inhale. On the exhale, let that left arm slide back out to the left side and face turns to the left side. 2 more times like that. On the inhale, arm starts to sweep, face comes into the center. On the exhale, face to the left and to the left. Last time here. Keep breathing, hold this shape. Reaching through the left fingertips, left arm, left shoulder pressing down, left leg working across to the right side. You may use that right hand and just a little bit pull the left knee a little more towards the crown of the head side of your mat, creating a little bit more intensity. Don't force anything. And then slowly soften, release. Press into the soles of the feet, lift the hips up, take them over to the other side, right? So now, second side here. Left leg extends out long. A little bit of structure in that left leg. Draw the right knee in. Arms out to the side, T shape. Right leg crosses over to the left side. You may turn the face to look that way. Sometimes that's the best place to be. Your left hand, again, kickstand, bench, or a little bit of help pulling that right leg across. Careful with yourself here. Both feet have that little bit of flex. Now from here, you make the exploration with the face. Maybe it's okay to look up towards the sky. Maybe that's too much. From there, perhaps turn the face, look over the right shoulder. Your right shoulder, again, right arm, are going to have a tendency to want to lift up off the floor. So actively press them back down to the floor, even as the right leg's going to the left side. Now starting that dynamic movement, if it's okay with your body today. On the inhale, the right arm starts to sweep back behind the head. Face looks up towards the sky. On the exhale, arm out to the side. Face turns to the right side. Couple more times here. Inhale, lengthen, reach. Exhale, open up. Last time here, stretch, reach, open up space. And then let that arm drift back. Stay here for just a few moments. Let the pose reveal itself to you. Reaching through the right fingertips, pushing the right shoulder down. You might use that left hand and draw the right knee a little bit more towards the crown of the head side of your mat. Don't force anything, but you want that consistent pressure here. It's one of the reasons we have the little structure in the whole body, so there's no place for the tension to hide. As you're ready, slowly start to unravel. The body back into the center of the mat. Bring the hands down next to the hips. Just a few moments, maybe knees side to side a little bit, or you may have to shake out the legs, kind of neutralizing things. Press into the soles of the feet. Lift the hips up off the floor. Coming into our bridge pose. This variation of bridge, I'm going to recommend to bring the hands behind the back. Find an interlace or grab peace fingers or put a strap between the hands. Once you find that, you might walk the heels a little closer to the shoulders. We can walk the shoulders underneath the body a little bit. Then press the back of the hands down towards the floor, back of the arms towards the floor. Press into the feet, squeeze the knees and thighs in towards each other. Lift the front of the thigh, lift the hip a bit higher, lift the navel center, lift the heart, press the arms down. Feel that aliveness going on in the shoulders, into the upper chest, across the heart, press into the feet, squeeze the legs in. Keep breathing. And then release the hands and slowly let the body roll down to the floor. Use both hands around the knees, draw the knees in, lift the tailbone up off the floor, a little curl of the pelvis, then roll the tailbone back down. Bring the knees outside the torso, this kind of frog shape. So the knees can go straight out to the side or more towards the foot side or more towards the head side of your mat. They can do different things. So one might go one way, another one goes the other way. It can be static, kind of non-moving. You might have found just the perfect place. Or you may have like some little rotations of the knees or side to side rocking of the torso, hips. Then draw the knees back in towards the center. We're coming into our inversion here. I'm going to cue two relatively simple inversions. If you prefer to practice a plow pose or a three-quarter shoulder stand, you can do those things here. If you're doing those, just remember there's a lot of pressure on the neck, so you're always going to look straight up into the sky. I'm not going to cue those in this online class, this virtual class where I can't see you guys. We might do a workshop on that sometime soon. So easy inversion here. If it suits you, knees in towards the chest, hands down next to the hips, or even sometimes hands around the shins if that feels a little bit better. Apanasana, simple inversion. Another inversion you might explore is legs up into the sky. Now we want to be cautious that the legs aren't out here where you feel the abs and the lower back working. This one is where the legs are like dead weight, and you might kind of walk the hips away from the shoulders, lining the weight of the legs over the hips, and you just feel this downward pressure. You could sometimes add in the arms into this one, so dead weight arms, dead weight legs. And in this inversion, whatever variation you've chosen, we're just looking to feel that sensation of groundedness. You can literally feel things draining down the legs, down in the arms. And then when you're ready, just let it come all the way down. So finding the shape that we can use for our Shavasana. Of course, if there's something else that you needed to work out, it's your personal practice. Do what you need to do. Shavasana, tons of possibilities for your shape. You may have bolsters or blocks or blankets or any of those kind of things for a restorative shape. You could do it here if you don't have any of that stuff going on, soles of the feet on the floor, or you may take the legs out long, feet kind of flop to the side. If you can comfortably let the palms face up towards the sky, that's maybe a little bit more preferred. Slight external rotation in the upper arm, into the shoulder, into the front side of the shoulder, and even into the chest, into the heart. You do want to let the eyes close. And just be soft. the breath be effortless. Just feel the stability and support of you being in direct contact with the earth. So you feel the weight of your body pressing down into the floor. So when you're ready, start to bring some life back into the body. Fingers and toes start to move. You might take the arms and reach and extend back behind the head. This long stretch from fingertips to toe tips. You could draw the knees in towards the torso. Roll onto the right side. Rest on that side for just a moment. And keeping the eyes closed, make your way up towards a seated posture. When you find the seated shape, do have the very subtle engagement from the roots through the navel center, through the heart and neck to the crown. But let the shoulders just kind of soften and the weight of the arms pull the tops of the shoulders down just a little bit, even as the central spine is a little bit more engaged. Allow the chin to drift down towards the collarbone. Always gratitude to yourself for practicing. And gratitude to everyone else who's practicing, especially at this time in the world. And then the final thing is this recognition that the essence of each of us is this shining divine light. We recognize our divine lights with the word namaste. So thanks a lot, guys. I realized that there was some audio issues in the first part of the class, so if you stuck with me through all of that, then great. Still working how to use this particular app on this platform, YouTube. So hopefully we'll have it all worked out for the next session. If you did stick it out with me and are interested in making a donation, you certainly can. At Venmo is LJ-hash, or on PayPal it's just LJ hash. And so if you want to do that, thanks very much. We'll be back on again tomorrow via Zoom. You can find the address for that on my Instagram and Facebook for either Oak Cliff Yoga or for LJ Hash. So join me tomorrow at 10:30. We'll do Vinyasa tomorrow as well, and have a restorative class on Sunday at 10:30. So hope to see you soon, or in the case of other platforms, see your avatar. Thanks a lot. See you soon.